I was recently talking to a young man who was a soon to be father, and he asked me for tips on fatherhood. The question stumped me for a second because I know from being a father of three that fatherhood looks different from child to child. Um, so I thought about it for a second, but then I was able to give him a couple pointers. The first pointer was number one. When you enter fatherhood, there's no blueprint, there's no manual on how to be a perfect dad. Um, the best thing you can do is learn how to love your kids unconditionally and to be selfless. And when I say selfless, I don't mean just make your kid the forefront and give them everything they want, but to put their needs before your wants and desires. So, that may mean if you love going to the gym like myself for 3 or 4 hours, you might have to cut it down to 30 minutes to, really get some time in with your kids. But you got to realize, especially during their early years, those years are very crucial and pivotal. So you need to definitely put them in the forefront. The second piece of advice I gave them was to set them up for success. And what that means is make sure that they have the tools and a system around them to be successful as they grow up. That means saving for them, investing for them, even trying to live in a community that will give them the best educational system. It doesn't mean going to private school, but changing zip codes can really, um, be life changing for your kids' educational success. Make sure that you have a community around them that pushes them in the right direction. That may mean you can't hang out with certain people anymore if they're toxic to your children. And the third thing I would say is to just find your own parenting style. And when I mean that, it's like, yes, we were raised by our parents. Yes, we want to do what our parents did to us, to our kids, but that may not work for your children. You have to figure out what your kid's personality type is and go from there. That may mean you may have to attend parenting classes. You may have to read some parenting books. But every child is different. Every child is not going to react the same way. Some kids you can tell them verbally to do something and they will listen. Some kids you will have to take things away from them that they want before they listen. Some kids are driven by rewards. So you just have to figure out what is your kid's style. Some kids love being praised. So once you figure out what your kid's personality type is like, then you build on that. Then that's how you all build your relationship and go from there. And I guess finally, the fourth point I would say is just as your kid gets older, be comfortable with having open lines of communication, be able to talk about anything and everything, even the uncomfortable conversations. You want your kid to be able to come to you first and talk to you about things that may not be comfortable to you, but you want your kids to find comfort in you, because if they don't find comfort in you, they're going to find comfort in someone else, and that someone else may not always be the best thing for their life.